I want to show you today a really fun technique that you can do when drawing. This technique is called pointillism. It means that you're using lots of dots to create a drawing. In fact, you're only using dots. This was a technique that the French artists Georges Seurat and Paul Signac used. They created this movement right after Impressionism, and they developed it using oil paint, but you can also do it using marker. So this is a great example. This is from Paul Signac. Here's his painting. From far away it looks like a regular painting, but if you get up really close, you can see that everything was created with dots. This area that looks kind of blue, green, turquoise is actually a combination of dots in blues, greens, and yellows. This is called optical mixing. Optical is a word that basically means eye, and what it means is that your eye is seeing these colors together and it's mixing them. Your brain is mixing these colors and you see kind of a turquoise green color. In fact, if you get real close, this image is only created with dots. This is another example. This is from Paul Seurat. He created this painting of a man, and if you get up really close, you can see this close-up image here is basically a close-up of his portrait here. So it's a combination of dots that when you look far away, you just see an image. We want to try to do that today. I'm going to show you some black and white imagery. When we draw using dots in black and white, we just call it stippling. So the technique is called stippling. Stippling is simply where you use lots and lots and lots of dots in black and white. So going from this to this is actually not that different. Just that here we're thinking about color. All right, so I'm going to give you a little tutorial on how to stipple. I'm going to take one color. What's really important to know is that when you stipple for pointillism, the wider apart your dots are, the more white paper you see. So the more white paper you see, the lighter your color is going to look. When you put your dots closer together, you can see that this square looks a lot darker than that one. And that's because these dots are closer together. So let's keep going. Let's make this box even closer together. And I would love for you to do this at home. Just take a scrap piece of paper, create 4 or 5 different boxes, and for each box, you just add increasingly more dots closer together. And you'll see that you're well on your way to creating pointillism. This is my 4th one. I'm going to try to make my 4th box now even darker. So for my 4th box, I have to make my dots really close together. That's looking okay. Now for my 5th box, I'm going to make these really close together. These should almost be touching. See, so here they're not touching at all, and here they're not really touching either. Here they're just starting to touch a little bit, here they're definitely touching, and in my 5th box, I'm going to be doing a lot of dotting here, creating lots and lots of overlapping. We all know that art supplies can be kind of expensive, and we love art. So please be gentle on your markers when you're doing this, right? There's no reason to bang, 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 bang. Just lightly tap your marker on your paper. You should get all the ink you need just by lightly tapping on your paper. More than overlapping, I'm really just trying to keep my dots as close together as I can. So that means that I'm allowing less of the white paper to show through, which means that my 5th box, it just looks more blue. Okay, I'd say that's pretty good, right? You can really see the difference in these 4 boxes. So I'm going to show you how to do this using different colors. Now we want to use different colors when we're stippling with markers. There will be areas in our art where we're combining different colors, maybe different greens, a light and a dark, maybe different warm colors, an orange and a yellow. What that does is it optically mixes the colors for us. We all know that when we mix red and yellow, what color do we get? We get orange, right? So I'm going to show you how this might look when you start stippling with red. I'm keeping these quite far apart because this is my first box. Now I'm going to add in some yellow. And of course we like to add in different colors because it makes it just more interesting. It allows your brain to work a little bit harder, which is more exciting for your brain, right? Right now my brain is looking at this and it's thinking, that looks a little bit orange from far away. Do you see how from far away it looks a little bit orange? That's because your brain is mixing the red and the yellow together. And we know that when your brain has to work hard to understand an artwork, generally that artwork is perceived as more interesting, right? Because your brain is working and trying to understand something. And that makes it more exciting for your brain and for the person whose brain it is. So here we go. I'm going to add this yellow again into my red. Now let's do the last one. So this one right now just has red. It doesn't have any yellow in it. But let's see what happens when I add a different color to it. What is the complement of red? It's green, right? Let's see what happens when I add some green into my red. It's definitely looking a little bit more shadowed, right? So this could be an option when you're doing a shadow. Maybe you have a red apple or a red cherry and you want to create a shadow area. You could use its complement. So if I have red, I would use green as a complement. Now let's imagine for this top portion, I'm just going to use pink now. And I'm going to stipple in a little bit of pink into my red. So this is darkening my red, but in a more interesting way, since I'm not using just extra red, but I'm actually using a different kind of red, namely a pink this time. You could also continue to play around with this. Maybe I want to tap in a little bit of orange down here. Maybe I want to create a slight shadowy edge. So you can see the more colors you add, and the closer together you get, you create different results. I'm going to do a sphere. So I'm going to dot everywhere in my sphere with my purple color. So we know that the darker edge of the sphere is going to be darker, so I'm using a darker purple. And I'm tapping in a little bit of darker purple at the bottom. Now, I can see that here there's a very sudden edge, and I don't think that that looks very good. We don't want sudden edges. So I might take my lighter purple, and I'm gonna add in a little closer dots here. I'm still following that shape of my sphere. My highlight area, let's imagine, is here. So maybe I'll darken this area, and my highlight area will be left there. You can even use pink, because pink is like a purple. This is a simple tutorial that you can do to prepare you for drawing in a pointillist way.